Show. Always Irish. Show. Always Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. No Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Happy Friday. Short week here. We're already to Friday. It feels weird. It feels like it just threw my whole week off. And like I lost that day and I felt like I forgot to do stuff or whatever. And it's a short week. We're at the end of it. Good news for everybody. Let's have a little fun today on the Friday morning show. Okay. So a few really interesting, juicy things to go over. Here's one thing I want to know from the group. Notre Dame announced their kickoff times. And I think there's still a couple games left that are to be determined, but for the most part, we know what this is going to shape up like. Is there one or two things with this scheduling and the timing that jumps out to you? For any reason, for us, against us, just anything with the schedule that you think helps, anything like that, because I have a couple items that jump out to me that make me feel like, follow me here. They make me feel like Notre Dame ended up with a bad draw last year with 8 weeks in a row to travel to another country, all those 9 games in a row against undefeated teams at the time. Almost, I could argue, especially the first half of the year, almost all of the scheduling quirks worked against Notre Dame. In a lot of ways, just the way it is. Like, I'm not blaming anybody, but the way it worked out, well, maybe I do blame them for 8 weeks in a row with no bye. That was something Notre Dame set up, and it was a problem. I'm wondering what stands out to you, because I got a couple things. Also, Colin Cowherd, he's at it again, folks. He's at it again. You know what we're in? We're in summer silly season. This happens every year. I'm telling you guys, it happens every year. When you get into these dog days of summer, you start having these content people throw all sorts of weird stuff out because there's a college football vacuum right now. There's not a lot happening, and you got to fill that and everything. And they dig deep into the bag of clickbait to get the numbers up for the college football stuff. Colin Cowherd sees no value in USC playing Notre Dame. They're in the Big Ten. They don't need Notre Dame. Tradition is dead. We're going for money and TV now. Who cares? That's his opinion. I would love to know. Unblock Commander Luke. I never blocked him. I don't know what you're talking about. I never blocked the man. And he was in here the other day. At the end of the show, he came in. So I don't know why people are saying that. I'm serious. I did not block him. I really didn't. So I don't know why that's coming up. And he wasn't in the beginning of the show, but he jumped in later in the show. So I don't know where that's coming from, but I promise you, I most certainly did not block him. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Phone lines, Nikki Dean's going to be the first one up. He's off work today. Doesn't have that 10 o'clock meeting with the boss and the work crew. So we're going to bring Nick up, see if he has any thoughts about the schedule or anything else. Anyways, Cowherd's you're throwing stuff out there. It's the slow part of the year, and you got to try and make some moves and make some waves and get some ratings. Do you see his point, though? That them joining in the Big Ten and whatever that in-conference grind is going to be, does he have a point of sure, you could argue keeping the tradition going is a big deal and we would all love that and the fans love, yeah, that's all certainly true, honoring that tradition. it's also true that their Big Ten schedule is going to be plenty tough enough to vouch for playoff contention without, number one, starting the year with LSU, and then later in the year having Notre Dame. You don't need that if you have a Big Ten regular schedule. So practically, I totally understand what he's saying. But to just flush all that tradition in the garbage without blinking or having a second thought about it really rubs me as a cheap way to do this. Like, it would be one thing if Coward was like, I love this rivalry and go through the old days and Notre Dame and all the battles, and it would hurt to leave. No, he's just like, I'm in LA and it's Hollywood and we move on to the next shiny thing and we don't care about history. Like, some of it was the way that Coward framed it that rubbed me the wrong way. That was a part of it. There was no like, oh, I have reverence for this. And it was just a really simple, like, flush all that history down the crapper. We're in the Big Ten. Let's go. That's tough. But you got to understand the way this content game goes. When you get in the dog days of summer, you start seeing wacky articles and weird YouTube video titles because everybody's fishing for ratings and they're very frustrated that everything's low for college football in the summer. And that applies for ESPN, Coward, everybody. The numbers are low for everybody, no matter what you do. You hit August and they skyrocket. It's just the way this goes. Everybody other than our group needs a little break from college football, except for all you people. You're sick. And I love you for it. Like, you're all sick in the mind. And I love it. You got the same disease I got, baby. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. Man. So that's, geez. Here's the other thing, you guys. You got Coward saying that. Did you all see Lincoln Riley was doing everything he could behind the scenes to try and get out of playing Kelly and LSU week one? I did a Patreon about that, going into the details. I don't know when it's going to post, but Lincoln Riley behind the scenes begging to get out of that LSU matchup week one this year. Shares an agent with Kelly. So going to the agent, telling the agent to talk to Kelly and talk Kelly into backing out of it too, so they could both schedule high school teams and get a win instead of play each other. And Kelly said no. Lincoln Riley, front runner, Hollywood baby boy, biatch, beta. That's what he is. He's a beta. And he's talking all this tough to your face. And then behind the scenes, he's going, I don't want to. Boy, it fits. It fits. Everything that I think about USC as a program, it fits perfect. Post-Bush push era. Post-Bush push. I got to give them credit for what they had cranking up then. Post-Bush push era, this is everything. It's everything. I think fake tough guy stuff, saying one thing in public but acting a different way. Phony Hollywood bravado, all that stuff, but behind the scenes, I'm too scared to play Kelly week one. I got to get out of it. It's stereotypical, perfect, what I think of USC. Tough guy to your face, soft when it matters, and behind the scenes in reality. It fits perfect. It fits perfect. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know how good USC is going to be. They got a tough road. Like, it really is going to be a tough schedule for them. Michigan's got a tough schedule. I'm really interested week to week to see how these guys do. Nick Dean, you're going to come up first on the call-in line. And we'll see what you got now that you don't have work. Here's the other thing, you guys. Jabron Payne. I didn't see that coming at all. I don't know if maybe you guys did and you got the inside scoop, or one of the boards on another show leaked it on their thing or whatever, but I got no messages about it. You know, usually with injuries or a recruit that we know is going to commit, somebody tells me behind the scenes, be prepared for this, or this is coming. You might want to get an article and a video ready, whatever. I promise you, I did not know anything about this. Nobody tipped me off. Nobody said anything. So I had no idea. And I got a bunch of messages yesterday from people saying, Did you know about this? Why didn't you like kind of drop that to us? No, I had no idea. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Brian says the 3:30 starts are great for tailgating. I am appreciative of that. I got my Miami, Ohio tickets last night. Top row, baby. Standing room only for Johnny. You know what I'm going to tell you. I like that top row in the upper deck so I could pace around with my little anxiety, not be told to sit down, not have anybody and some old lady behind me. Sit down. My husband went here in 1947 and he's a retired lawyer, and I didn't come here to have you standing and yelling at this athletic event. I don't have any of that going on. I'm in the back row. I could stand the whole time. And I could flip off the back of the stadium if I need to, if anything goes bad. I told you. Last year, Central Michigan, when Hartman's leg flipped behind his head like Gumby doing aerobics, my body seized. I almost flipped off the back of the stadium and landed in the quad. Unbelievable. My dad just said, is that Elmo talking? It's some rich old lady who doesn't care about football, but just goes there to be seen and have a day. And those people piss me off. That's what that is, okay? It pisses me off. Too many people just look at it as a social event and a place to go and be seen with your little rich friends and everything. And the game's not even a part of it. It's just a reason to show that you're all cool and rich in society, keeping up with the Joneses and all this stuff. I want people in that building that want to win football games. Frank style. Not some of the games, not most of the games, all of the games. Anyways. Johnny, I'm grabbing my ticks. What section are you at? I believe it's 121, right at the top. Top row, baby. Right against that wall. And I got a bunch of them, so me and my people could be there, whatever. It's what I think U121, I believe. It's next to the Jumbotron and like over a couple sections. I just went the same place we did last year because I loved it. Standing room. No pressure, not a bunch of people. I'm not drinking in the parking lot, and then I'm jammed in a seat with a bunch of people, all people's knees in my back. That always happens. People's knees in my back, it bothers me. Maybe they need to go to actual seats then. Because every time I'm at Notre Dame and then somebody's behind me, I get kneed in the back. Anyways, I like that top row for my own reasons. A lot of them anxiety and just the space. It's the worst thing about going to a game, being jammed in there with everybody. Get off me. It's just like flying. Actual seats, you're a closet wine and cheese. I want a barrier from John Q. Public, Jay Carr. I don't like those knees in my back from the Sasquatch that's always behind me. One of the other recent games, it was one of the USC games, and there were these people hammered behind us, literally like 280-pound drunk grown men, losing their balance, falling on my 60-year-old mother in the row ahead. Like, I want us to be loud and rowdy and all that, but I can't have a 280-pound drunk Sasquatch falling on my 60-year-old mom, okay? Like, there's a line. So I go to the top row. All the action's in front of me other than me flipping off backwards. Nothing to worry about. John, you're a weird guy. You really think about all this weird. Yeah, duh. What are you, new here? I don't do anything normal. That goes for this too. It's just the way I am. It's just the way I am. Closet wine and cheeser. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We got a $5 from my main man, Martinez. That's right, Johnny. We Alphas here, baby. SEC, big play junior high teams. It's going to be interesting. Brandon, Always Irish's mom is not 60. She looks younger than you. She actually has hair. That's a good one. And good compliment to my mother as well. I do say for their ages, both my parents do look younger. They're in shape. They take care of themselves. They're modern. They're with like modern reality. They do a good job. They do a good job. But I'm just telling you, it's going to be a fun blue and gold. I'm so used to that blue and gold tailgate. It's going to be really fun for Miami, Ohio. Again, everybody make your plans, be there, warm weather early in the year. It's going to be fun. Okay, well, I got to get through the introduction. 15 minutes. Here we go. Angela, it's good to see you. And I hope you guys are available to come too. And Angela, here's the other thing. There's going to be a bunch of people coming to this tailgate that have their kids. Like multiple people are traveling states to come for that game, be with our group, and they're going to have their younger kids there. Like we're going to make sure it's a good environment for the kids too, not just the adults drinking their, Fireball and I'm having Miller Lights for breakfast. So we're going to have good stuff, specific stuff set up for the kids to do. Like we're building this operation. Okay, we're building it. People like the in-person events. We need to build those up, keep that momentum, and me not knock my microphone off the stand. That would also be good. Earmuffs required. Johnny never says a bad word. I've never been accused of that. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, Jello shots for the kids. Hey, it has Jello in it. What do you want? As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. You know why. That way you alerted every time. Wait, that's not the thumbs up. That's notifications. You will be alerted every time something rattles in my head. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irishing. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see my face. Nobody blames you for that. Most notably me. The call-in lines. 312-988-15. You dialed up. Tell cousin Johnny all the football you heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Irish Wire. Read all about it, folks. Patreon.com/Always Irish. It's the former captain, the leading tackler, Mike Goolsby, and myself breaking it all down. We got some good stuff planned over there, too. So this is the time of year a lot of action happens, man. You got to put together your plan for what you're going to do when football season hits. There's a lot of exciting things to think about and to be able to set up for what this year is going to be. So I'm excited. Oh, come on. BVG should be the coach. Yeah, that's interesting. I love that name. John's next podcast, Emotional Control by John Kennedy. Don't lose your head. I am the epitome of controlling your emotions and always being under control of what, your behavior. And I pride myself on that. It's a big strength of mine. Always maintain composure on the air. That's a key feature of this show, folks. It's a key feature of this show. You got to maintain your composure when you're talking about Notre Dame at all times. All right? There's no need to get animated. Somebody says, Chewy was at the game. I'm just telling you, how come every time that I'm there and I'm all skinny and small, I end up with supersize me by me, and they're hanging over me, always touching me. I don't like strangers touching me unless I ask for it or pay for it, okay? I'm serious. Is that rude of me? Is that insensitive of Johnny Boy? Am I like asking for too much that I don't have to touch a stranger in public to go do something? I think that's perfectly reasonable. Okay, I don't like touching strangers unless I want it. And that doesn't happen on an airplane, and it doesn't happen sitting in one of these seats. Quit touching me. Okay? Quit touching me. Airplane's bad too, bro. I need a partition. And the sides come up right where your spot is so nobody can hang over into my area. Pet peeve. I want a button like a limo and the sides go up and I'm in my own little spot and nobody can get into it. All right? Just telling you, man. Sorry. Leave me alone. The victor spoiled my grandson's ceremony for me. Ooh, I can understand that. I'm just glad to have you here, Dr. John. I'm just glad to have you here. I really am. All right. I want to go over Notre Dame's schedule. There's some really good nuance. So I'm going to bring Nick Dean on. We're going to get his thoughts early in the morning. He's off work. He usually has that 10 o'clock meeting, and he's always going, John, you got to give me an hour. I got to go to this meeting at 10. So we're going to get him in so we don't have to do it. Always Irish Senior, look at this. Good to have you here, Dad. I'll be working out in my casket. Got to stay in shape. Jill is 63 years young. I'm telling you, my dad's an animal. He's working out every day. He's in way better shape than I am at 65 or whatever. That dude works out every day. He has no body fat. Like, he literally works out and like watches what he eats. He's in better shape than I am, and I promise you that. He's got it going on. Good for you, Dad. You're going to be the oldest living Notre Dame fan ever on record, I think. So keep it up, buddy. And good for Mom, too. A lot of compliments for her. Good job, man. Appreciate that. Nick Dean, what's going on? Let's see if the phone lines work today. That'd be a nice Friday bonus. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Johnny?
Oh, I'm just glad to hear the phone lines loud and clear. Nick, it's good to be able to talk to you, man. I appreciate you always checking in, even when you have to work and have those obligations. Now that you have a little freedom today, I would love to know what's on your mind about anything on the docket or anything that you want to talk about, man. It's your dance floor.
Well, the first thing is, the schedule is looking really nice. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be as good as everybody else does. They're 7th or 8th in the SEC. That's my first thing. My second thing is, damn, NBC was really intelligent to make that Louisville game the Peacock game. They're going to get a bunch of subscribers to Peacock now, aren't they?
It's really okay. Nick, you're good, because one of the things I said is, what stands out to you about this, the kick times and all this? The number one outlier of all this is Louisville. It's the number one outlier that my eyes went to right away. Day game Peacock for Louisville is a really interesting choice. My question, Nick, is that strategic by Notre Dame, or is that just kind of the way it fell? And by that, what I mean is, did they look at the environment last year and go, the hell with that, we're going the other way. It's not even going to be on TV. We're not letting you build it up into a big night game, and we're just going to play you during the day, and it ain't even on TV, and you can deal with it. You're not getting that treatment to build up the situation like it was last year. I don't know whether Notre Dame did that on purpose or not, but I kind of don't mind it, Nick.
I think there was a little bit of that. But I also think Bavacqua was giving NBC a little kickback, trying to get more subscribers to Peacock. That's what I think really happened.
Yeah, because, okay, look at this, Nick. Look at this schedule. A lot of people have gone, why wouldn't it be the Northern Illinois game? The reason it wouldn't be Northern Illinois is you don't put Notre Dame's first home game of the year on a streaming service, right? Because you go to A&M, so that's a road game. They're not going to put the first home game on the streaming service. So that knocks out Northern Illinois. My thought is, how is it not Miami, Ohio? That seems like the perfect Peacock game where it's at in the schedule. I'm shocked it's not Miami, Ohio. I really am.
I was too, but I'm kind of glad because Peacock's gotten a little better since the last time you watched him. I use a Fire Stick and my phone as a hotspot, and I don't have as much buffering as I used to have. Not near as much.
Yeah. So maybe they're starting to kind of refine that process. And I haven't watched it because I've been going to the Peacock game, and then I rewatch it like online and stuff. So maybe it has gotten a lot better. But if there is any intentional, we are going to minimize this moment for Louisville, kind of in retribution for last year and that buildup. That's where my soul went. That's where my heart went, is I'm that petty that I would love it if Notre Dame was like, you know what? You're not getting the big time. We're not flexing it in tonight. You're not worth that. And you're not even on TV. If they did that out of vitriol, it would be petty. Oh, but I'd love it. I would love that level of pettiness from Notre Dame. I'm all about. If I would love that, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The other thing was Jabron Payne. Man, I didn't think his injury was that bad. I mean, he had 55 yards in the blue gold game. He didn't look like he was hurt. Maybe they're just doing this for a medical red shirt.
It surprised me. I did not. It is weird to me that I never got tipped off. I never got a text message or no email. None of my people fed me. I did not have that at all. And all day yesterday, people are going, why didn't you tell us this? Find this. I had no idea. Now, really unfortunate for him because he did have an increased burst and looked really good in the blue and gold game. However, if you were going to have this happen, at least we feel really good about the depth and well-rounded nature of the running back room. This will provide an opportunity for one of the younger guys maybe to fill a role or get their career going here. So it's not ideal, but at least it's a position we feel really good about, and there's depth and talent all over it. So that's the way you got to look at it. But surprising, unfortunate news for me.
Yeah, I said that exact same thing to my wife when I was reading the article this morning. I was like, man, that's the one room, I guess, if we have to have an injury that we can kind of get through it.
Yeah.
But it's just terrible for him.
It is. Oh, and by the way, Nick, speaking of the wife, I did read through that book she gave me of her work and stuff, and just really gifted mind. I like people that have that gene in them and everything. And I really appreciate that gift. So make sure you tell her thank you for me.
She's sitting right here, so she heard you say it.
Oh,
she didn't have to listen to me try to repeat it.
Well, that's even better. She's got a really unique mind, and I like people like that. And so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, she was happy to give it to you, and we'll be happy to see you at the Miami of Ohio game too, Johnny.
Oh man, it's going to be fun, man. The group keeps growing, and we keep adding people and features, and I like the momentum of it, man. And I just want to be a place where everybody feels welcome to hang out and gather, come and go as you wish, whatever it is. Nick, let me ask you this one. How do you feel about Colin Cowherd saying, to hell with history, USC doesn't need to play Notre Dame? Why risk playing a good team like that when you have a Big Ten schedule and it's all about making the playoff? He seemed to just blow right by all the history with just flush it down the toilet without even a thought. What is your reaction to the realities of these scheduling balances and how much you want to push yourself or not out of conference these days? What do you think?
Well, first of all, Colin Cowherd is half a step better than Stephen A. because he doesn't yell as much as Stephen A. They're both from BSPN, and I don't watch BSPN. I haven't for 20 years. Just haven't watched them. Number two, unfortunately, this is the way college football is going. And old guys like us that enjoy the traditional rivalries aren't going to get to see them unless Notre Dame joins the Big Ten. And then we probably won't get to see the USC game anymore. So that's why several times on your show I say, hey, we should just join the Big Ten because I want to see us play all the old rivalries. But I don't think people quite understand that. They don't want to be in a conference, which I understand. I don't want to either. But we got to get our rivals back, right?
Yeah, I totally understand the argument practically about the schedule. USC's jumping into a heavy, tough Big Ten schedule. Why would you wrap it with LSU on the front end and Notre Dame on the back end? Why would you do that? And so I totally understand what he's saying. It's just, man, a big part of the reason so many people have a romantic love for college football is the history and the tradition and these rivalries. That's why people feel as strongly about this sport as they do, is all of that unique history. And it's just seeing it get whitewashed just because we're in this new playoff and nothing matters but money now. rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah. And I don't understand why Coward even said anything. I mean, he's just a media guy. He needs to just keep his mouth shut. Let the fans have at least a couple games a year that are old rivalries,
Yeah, it's
something to enjoy.
Oh man, and then the other aspect of that, Nick, is how does this mentality, if it permeates schedule makers, which I suspect it will, and it's all going to be about minimizing losses to get into the playoff. Why schedule anybody tough if you don't have to in conference? My question is, does it become hard for Notre Dame to fill out a really interesting, competitive, high-level schedule if some of these teams realize we just don't need to do that, and it's about not having a lot of losses to make the playoff? Like, I don't know if that leaves Notre Dame in a challenge to fill out a schedule. And I'm not even getting to the part of if the ACC folds or something happens there, now you got 5 more games you got to fill. Could that be what sends Notre Dame right in the Big Ten? Because you're going to have to fill out 5 more weeks every year that you don't have to worry about now because you get them guaranteed. Does that become an issue? Like, I think that's a real thing that's fair to worry about.
It's going to be. We aren't going to be able to field a schedule unless we're going to play, Northern Illinois, Miami of Ohio, and
then 3 more like it, right?
Indiana State every year.
Yeah, I just, and the other thing is, here's all of things have changed. The SEC is going to change forever now. The Big Ten's changed forever now with the influx of the different teams. But my argument always was, I don't see that playoff committee really penalizing anybody for a weak strength of schedule if you're in a Power 5 conference. I have never seen them do it. I have seen them get up there and talk about how much it matters. But when they end up doing the rankings, I don't see it mattering at all. I have yet to see them say, yeah, this team has a really good record, but we don't respect who they play enough. We don't vow. I don't know. People are going to water down their schedules, play their conference, and just try and get in the playoff. I think that's where this is headed.
It is, and it's gonna be 2 big conferences. It's going to be the Big Ten and the SEC or whatever new names they come up with. And the money difference between Indy being an independent and being in the Big Ten, probably enough for them to say, well, maybe we should go ahead and do that. Because if we're getting the money from the conference, we don't have to share any of our money that we're getting from all the fans that are buying all the jerseys and sweatshirts and hats and pom-poms and, all that stuff. We don't have to share that with the players.
Yeah.
It's the TV money.
Yeah. It's, man. And you know what else? You got to add in that 20 to 22 million every team's going to have to start paying out for that lawsuit between the NCAA. You're going to have to come up with like $22 million more dollars one way or another to pay out all these athletes. Like, the bills are adding up. Pete Pavak was not going to let Notre Dame football fall off the map on his watch. That gives me comfort. I believe in Pete Pavak's dedication to keeping Notre Dame up with the Joneses enough to be able to compete. He's not going to let Notre Dame fall off the map. He just will not do it. He loves Notre Dame personally in a way Jack never could. In a way, I'm just telling you, it's different. When you listen to Pete give an interview and talk about what that football program means, it's personal to Pete. It's personal. It's not just a job. It's personal to Pete in a way that I just don't think it ever hit Jack. He's not going to let Notre Dame fall off the map. So you got to trust his leadership, and he's got to find a way to thread the needle here, maintain our values, but keep up with the modern times. It's a big challenge, but that's his job. And he's got to figure out a way to do it, Nick. Got to figure out a way to do it.
So something that I think Pete would do, I think he'd take ownership of screwing up a coordinator hire. First of all. Second of all, I don't think he would ask for more money from the fans after he screwed up something like that. But thirdly, and this is the one that concerns me the most, I don't know if Pete would give you the props about saying, people in their basements. and giving you as much credit as Swarbrick did. You got to give credit to Swarbrick for that one.
I'm telling you, man, it just made me so happy. I took it so personal. He may have just meant it as like a saying that you say, making fun of these trolls in their basement doing content. But I took it personally and I loved it, man. I was laughing. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is gold. Like, I loved it. So he did a lot of good things and was a Notre Dame steward and said the right things most of the time and whatever. That's fine. I'm just saying, the relationship your new AD has with football is very, very different. And I think it's exactly the tone and the mindset that's needed to navigate Notre Dame into these new uncertain times. I think you need a guy with this modern edge and that will do anything to keep Notre Dame in the mix. I'm comfortable with Pete in that role. And I believe he's going to steer Notre Dame the right way here. But there are a lot of big decisions falling on Pete Bavacqua coming up. Like, of all the eras to get your chance to be the AD at Notre Dame, he's walking into a tough one. He's going to have some existential decisions to make that affect the whole future of all this. And he needs to have proper guidance and do the right things.
So have you heard Alabama crying about their schedule? And, we lost all our old games and we have to play all these SEC East schools now. And it's like, you're finally playing a decent schedule. Why are you crying?
You know what, man? I got to tell you what I'm one of the things I'm most interested in this season, outside of our world, outside of the Notre Dame circle, one of the things I'm most interested to see is the total restructuring of the hierarchy of power in the Big Ten and the SEC. And what I mean by that is when you're adding these new teams that are bouncing into both of those conferences, I feel that many of those teams are good enough. They're going to upset what everybody's used to being the natural order of teams in the Big Ten and the SEC. There's some teams that are going to get knocked down a few pegs and catch a couple more losses a year than they've been able to get in their Big Ten schedule or their SEC schedule. I'm all for that being more of a round robin that's more competitive and everything. That is one of the top things I'm looking for this year. I cannot wait to see that. And one thing, Nick, that I'm going to miss dearly. I'm going to miss this dearly. Maybe they'll find a way to rejuvenate it. I'm not sure. Nick, a guilty pleasure of mine was Notre Dame wins their game either during the day or even like a 7:00 start. I used to love to crack a couple beers and watch that Pac-12 late game that's on at like 1:30 in the morning with, what's his name, Papadocious or whatever, the USC guy that announces those. His name's Papa Rapadocious or something like that. The guy out west, and it's like it's on at 1:30 in the morning, and it's a big like USC game. I love that, Nick. That was the way to wrap up your Saturday with that late night game, a couple beers. I love it.
Yeah, I used to like that too. My wife didn't like me staying up that late and drinking that much, but the other thing was Goolsby said something on the Patreon the other day. And it was about lifting and not lifting, and you actually gain more muscle by not lifting. And when I was a sophomore, I weighed like 125 pounds. And my dad wanted me to get bigger. And I said, well, I'm not lifting this summer. I'm going to have fun with my friends. I went from 125 up to 170. And he said, what'd you do? What'd you do? So there is some truth in Goolsby's theory on that. And then the other thing on the Patreon, you said that you could see USC with 3 to 4 losses this year. I'm thinking Alabama might have 3 to 4 losses this year too. Just looking over their schedule. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh man, that would just
both of them like that.
It would. People just aren't used to that. And you know what I'm open to? I'm open to the idea. If you don't have a big drop off from Alabama, I think that would surprise some people. I think everybody just figured Roger Dodger, the USC guy, he's going, Petros Papadakis. John, that's what I said. Papa Smurfadakis. That's exactly what I said too. Give me a break, Dodger. I want to know, Dodger, what do you think of your schedule? I think you're all for it, Roger. You're in here all the time. You seem like a true competitor who isn't afraid. How many losses are you expecting your team to have? I'm telling you, I just think USC could be in for a rough year. And Nick, here's where that matters. Where that matters the most is Notre Dame's catching them in our 12th game. If USC has 3 or 4 losses leading into it, they're playing dead and they're not interested anymore. They're going to be beat up, miserable, out of contention for anything anybody cares about. That's where you want to meet USC. So I am very interested to see them navigate these waters, because if they got a few of them losses, 3 or 4, whatever, they're not going to be in the mood to play no Notre Dame with the tough physical defense. So
yeah, and they'll have 8,000 people in the stands of, what do they hold? 70, 75,000 in their stadium. They'll have 8,000 people there. So that'll be great too.
Well, that'll be perfect though, because everybody that is there has room to put their surfboard in the open seat next to them. Everybody could have their own little area there. So
do they need suntan lotion at that time of the year, Johnny?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've only been to LA a couple times for like at the airport. I don't know, man. I'm scared of that place. It just doesn't seem like a fit for me, man. I'm just too regular of a guy to blend in Hollywood. I don't know. So, but it's going to be really
give
interesting.
Me the top row, I bet.
Yeah. I could have the whole top row and half the stadium. I could pace around and walk everywhere I wanted because the whole section's open. I love it. USC 9-3 is about right. Iowa, it's just going to be really. I cannot wait, Nick. I want to see these West Coast teams jump in the Big Ten. I am so supremely intrigued by what, like specifically Washington, Oregon, and USC are going to look like week to week with the grind of a more physical Big Ten schedule than a typical Pac-12 one used to be. All the travel. Then you get into the part of the year where you have cold weather and travel. I can't wait to see how that goes. I can't wait.
Well, I can tell you right now, those boys are going to have to be eating a lot of protein to stay warm and to get a little bigger, because they're a little bit too light to play those Big Ten schools.
Yeah, it's going to be, man, it's going to be really interesting. Andrew Gilmore says, I'm not counting USC out yet. A good DC could change their fortunes. Lincoln Riley has not forgotten how to call an offense. They do have to replace the quarterback. Roger Dodger, I want to know who your starting quarterback is and how good you feel they'll be right away. Lincoln Riley has a history of producing those. And then they got a new DC. And that's the most interesting part of the week 1 matchup, Nick. You have USC and then LSU and Kelly. Both of them revamp their defenses and have new guys in there. Who is going to be most put together and ready to play high-quality football week 1 between two teams that have good offenses, and then now they're redoing their defenses? It's going to be interesting. Can't wait.
Yeah, but their defenses aren't going to be set yet. So that game, the first one to 60 is winning.
Oh, man.
I'm just calling that now.
Oh, that's going to be wild.
60 in that game.
Oh, that's going to be wild. I don't know. I'm really interested. And the only thing that could ruin my intense intrigue into that game is if we lose ours. If we lose ours, I'm not going to be in the mood the next day to watch any football. I'm going to be miserable. Everybody, all of us are going to be miserable. My life's going to be miserable. And everybody's going to blame me for supporting Freeman. Okay. So just win the game so I can enjoy watching LSU and USC. Okay.
I made a comment on one of your shorts. I don't care if we win all 12 games by 1. This year, we just got to win all 12. I'm tired of hearing this 11-1 crap, 10-2 crap. Let's just win all 12.
Yeah.
And then get to the playoffs. Period. Into discussion.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, man. Every year I go through the schedule and I'm like, well, you could find a way to win this one. Those 4, we have more talent than this one. We should be able to win 12-0. And then you get into this season and you realize life's complicated. Life's a lot more complicated than we want it to be with football.
Yeah, but great teams, great coaches, and we got some great coaches. Figure out a way to win those games. It doesn't matter if you've been coaching 2 years or 30 years. You figure out a way to win them. This is the year we got to do it.
Yeah.
All 12.
Oh man, it would be exactly what this fan base needs. You would be able to pull in some of the people that want to believe in Marcus Freeman, but have some anxiety about some of what they've seen on the field. It would really bring everybody in the fold. And you know what else it would do if that happened? The haters would get really loud, because when Notre Dame's a real threat, that's where the haters get the most loud, is when they feel the most threatened. Like, I'm here for one of those years, and I want it to be so. And I want all of us to get an early Christmas present of a home playoff game. Like, we're in late May. We're in late May. That's the goal here, everybody, is hosting that playoff game in the cold and the snow with Rudolph and Santa Claus in the crowd. Give it to me.
I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it in May. If we host a playoff game, my wife and I are going to be there. I'm going to be Santa Claus. She's going to be Mrs. Claus. We're going to try to get on NBC.
I like that. And you know what? You guys kind of have the personalities.
Green, Irish scarf on too.
You guys kind of have the personalities that I could see you both naturally being good at that role. I like that for you guys. You're getting on NBC for sure, man.
Yep, and we'll have our always Irish scarf on too.
There you go. Oh, Nick, I know what I wanted to ask you. You're a bit older than me, another generation with more Notre Dame experience. Here's what I want to ask you. What is your relationship with the Notre Dame-Purdue rivalry? I have a theory on this, and I'm interested to hear your answer. Goolsby and I were talking about that the other night. I want to know your relationship in your mind and your heart between the Notre Dame and Purdue rivalry. What are your thoughts and feelings on that matchup?
Okay, when I was a kid, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I hated us playing Purdue because they always played us tough. We always seemed to win, but they always played us tough. Then in the mid-80s to late 80s, it was a seesaw battle, and we always played them right after Michigan.
Yep.
So, you had the energy of the Michigan game, you had the energy of the Purdue game, and it was always a battle, and it was always a good rivalry. Now it's not so big because Purdue hasn't been as good as they once were, but I still see Purdue as a rival. I mean, I still consider them as one of our rivals.
Yeah, and I totally expect that answer from people in your framework and age, and then my dad a little older than that. But my theory is, if you're about my age or younger, 40 or younger, I don't think that Purdue game registers the way it does if you are 40 and older and have some of that history, even just like the Drew Brees history is what I remember most from being young in that rivalry. Like, I feel like there's a cutoff, and the younger people in their mid-20s that love Notre Dame, they've never really seen Purdue be any good. We don't play them that regularly, and when we do, it's just kind of a game. I don't think the younger people feel that that's a big situation, other than it's right down the toll road. And here's the other part of it, Nick. Maybe you disagree. I think Purdue thinks about Notre Dame a lot more than Notre Dame thinks about Purdue. Does that make sense? Like, I think beating Notre Dame, it's a bigger deal to them to play us than it is for us to play them. And I mean that. I just think they have it out for us. And I like that that's a game day, by the way. We're talking about the schedule and the timing. I think Notre Dame caught a break, that being during the day. Now, their roster's not great. They have flaws everywhere. Catching them during the day, though, and not letting them have a vibe at night in that stadium where I've seen them do some things before, I think that might be a break for Notre Dame. I like it.
Well, we went to the last Notre Dame-Purdue game, my wife and I, and if people remember, we were losing that game at halftime. Kyle Hamilton knocked out their receiver that was just killing us. I don't know what the guy had, but I think he had 2 touchdowns and maybe 8 or 9 receptions. Number 3, I can't remember his name. But we almost lost that game. If Kyle Hamilton hadn't hit that guy as hard as he did and knocked him out, I'm glad he was not hurt. I'm glad he's not injured, I should say. He was hurt, and he didn't play anymore that game. But we almost lost that last Purdue game. I was worried in the stands.
Yeah, it's
so people need to remember that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. And the other thing is that I struggle with and that Notre Dame fans have to process is, is it Bell? Adam Dowling saying Bell. Is that who you're thinking of? That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
The other thing that I think hurts the momentum of like feeling we don't play them. It's hard to maintain like an intense rivalry thing where it's like it happens and then it doesn't for a few years and then it happens. Like, that's a weird dynamic to keep like vitriol other than if it's Michigan, because that's so different and unique. So I don't know, man, but I'm excited about it being a day game. I want a bunch of Notre Dame people to hit that toll road and then go to West Lafayette and own the place, and go ahead and get that win. And it's a true road game, one of only, I believe, 3 on the schedule, and it's right down the road. Yeah. So that should be an easy, quick trip for Notre Dame. You're not flying to Ireland or flying to wherever you're going to play. You're not doing all that. You can knock out one of your 3 true road environments by going right down the toll road. Get that win, get back home, sleep in your own bed, and we keep it moving. That's what I need it to be, Nick.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. And Pat's going to be there with the Always Irish flag, right?
There is talk.
Isn't Pat?
Yeah, there is talk that a group are going to go. And I probably won't be a part of it just because I want to be able to do my show and not be out 2 weeks in a row with the Miami game coming right after it. I'll give them my flag, and whoever knows their way around can set it all up and have the flag and represent. The only thing is, if I'm giving people the flag, you got to have a good party and make it fun. So if Pat's doing that, I trust him with that. Pat's a party connoisseur, so he'll find a way to liven up the crowd. So yeah, I'd love to have some representation.
Well, he'll definitely at least have a couple big stogies going, right?
Oh, Pat's always got a stogie. The funny ones are, I've seen Pat tailgating to Notre Dame games in the pouring rain, and he's got that stogie, and it looks like a soggy dog turd that he's carrying around in his mouth. But damn it, he's having that cigar. I love him. I love that kind of thing. Yeah. Adam Dowling, St. John, the toll road runs east and west, maybe down 65. You know what I mean? Right down, up the road, down the road. It's like Jack saying people in his basement. You understand the gist. Give me a break.
Yeah. Adam's got to be like critiquing all the time, doesn't he?
Oh, I love Adam. Oh, I love Adam. Adam is in a lot of ways just as neurotic as I am with Notre Dame. Like, there isn't a day that goes by we don't text about something going on in Notre Dame land that is in our minds. It's really messed up. Like, it's disturbing. Mikey Poles, John, I could host an Always Irish tailgate at MetLife for the Navy game. If people are willing to do this, my only requirement is you have to have a good party. I am not against giving people flags, but you gotta have a good party. My original flag that I bought for the brand, I gave to Brandon Fry when he moved from South Bend down to Georgia. I wanted him to have something to represent our group when he goes down and lives in Georgia and everything. I gave him my original flag. I'm happy to give them out, but you got to represent.
Hey, you need to get those flags on your store, man.
Oh, that's a
lot of people would fly them. I'd fly one in Columbus for you.
Here's the problem, Nick. The problem is it's hard for some of those unique things you want to make and then route through Shopify and do it all. The vendors, they charge so much. It's totally like out of a price that anybody, like, I would really have to figure out how to do that with a proper vendor. And I have a guy that I know in the little sleepy suburbs here that makes them, and I can get them for a good price one-offs. But if I did them on a bigger scale, they get pricey. So that's the thing. I want to figure out how to get that cost down.
Okay. That sounds good.
It's a great idea, though. It's a great idea, but I can't put out something where I'm like, oh, that's too expensive. I hate it. Like, I got to figure out the right vendor. Nick, great catching up with you, man. Anything else you want to talk about? We've been going for a while, but I haven't been able to really talk to you because you're always working. So I love it.
No, there's nothing else I need to get off my chest. Just thanks for having this show and having the tailgates that you have and getting this group together, man, because it's fun to get together whenever we can.
Nick, I'm telling you, man, the number one thing that I feel good about with all of this is a bunch of these people at these tailgates, when I go step to the side to talk to them one-on-one for a minute, which I try and do with every group that comes up, a bunch of people say, man, you're giving us a home base and a place to feel welcome and at home and like we belong in Notre Dame. And usually we don't have that. We didn't go here. We don't have a big tailgate where everybody knows your name and everything. And they said, thanks for giving us a place where we feel welcome and open and we know people and we're comfortable and it's fun. That's what I want. That's the exact vibe I want with this. I love it. And we're going to grow it.
So you're the new school Subway alums, huh?
Telling you, man, I want to be the place where everybody just feels welcome. And I love that vibe. We got kids, we got old people, we got young people, we got everything. And I love it.
Yep, you're doing a great job, Johnny. Keep it up, man.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. And tell your lovely wife, she's just a unique person. And I really value her too. Okay, Nick?
She's sitting here saying, thank you, Johnny.
No problem. You guys have a really good weekend, and hopefully we'll talk to you and see you soon, okay?
All righty.
Take care, buddy. Crystal clear phone line for Nick Dean, too. I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Stop pump thinking. Any news on my guy Morrison? How is Riley Leonard rehab coming along? Is he doing stationary drills still? The last update I got on this was more worried about Morrison's track than Riley Leonard, because I think there was more to clean up with Morrison when they got in there than anybody wanted to admit. That's kind of the way I think of this. So I was told you need to be more, the quarterbacks get it I was just told to be more aware of the longer-term recovery process for Morrison than I am Riley Leonard. That's the information I have. That's how John pulled his wife. Oh, honey, you're so unique. I want to be very, very clear, Jay Carr. Blyberg, that's good on a Friday. Yeah, welcome to the show. Thanks for your input. I'm not even going to say it, but it made me laugh. She is a really creative thinker, writes poetry, writes like songs, like she gave me a book of her own poetry she published at the Blue and Gold game. That's what I mean by unique. She has a different part of her brain that activates than a lot of people. And I relate to her on certain levels there. And I appreciate the wavelength she operates on because it's different than most people I run into. Especially in the football circle. Let's put it that way, especially in the football circle. So I really like that. And every time I speak with her, she gives me something else. She puts in my ear to think about a different way. It's really healthy for me. She activates a different side of my brain. And it's pretty cool. Do you want me to write you a poem? Bro, No, because I know it would be funny, but probably inappropriate, and then we all get in trouble. V1 Rotate, $5 holla on a Friday. Thank you very much. Have to head out at 11 for a college football game trailer. ND can stress me out virtually and in real life now. Everybody, all these reporters that got to go in the room early and test the game and whatever, the early reviews are very realistic. Even like details, specific things certain fan bases do, you will recognize in the game. Not all songs. One guy said he tried to play as Virginia Tech to get Enter Sandman, but the licensing fee to be able to use that song from that band is so expensive they couldn't do it. So you don't have Enter Sandman because they wouldn't pay up for the licensing fee for the music. But other things like the Mo Bamba that they play at Notre Dame, that's in the game, I understand. So there's a lot of nuance there. Injuries, guys get dinged up, and then it shows you how hurt they are. And then it lets you know one more big hit and this guy's out of the game. Like there's a lot of stuff going on there. I just can't, you guys, the way my life is, the way my brain is, I can't see myself sitting there and playing a video game. I can't, at this point in my life, I just can't do it. I just can't see myself ever sitting down and playing this game, even though I love it. I'm not buying a PS5 and I'm not going to sit there and do this. I would be playing the game going, why are you doing this when you should be writing an article or recording a video, but you're sitting here playing a game? Like that's how it would into. Go Irish. I'll give you one. He's asking for maybe a sleeper. This isn't a sleeper, but you know what would make me laugh? Go Irish. Thank you for being here. It's not a sleeper, but do you know what would make me laugh? Oregon winning the Big Ten. Something like that. There's my answer. That's what I'm rooting for. I would like one of the group outside that joined the Big Ten and one of the outsider groups that joined the SEC to win it. That's what I would want because it would ruin all of the way all of those people think in both of those conferences. That's what I'm rooting for. I'm not even going to say who the team I want it to. I don't care. I want one of these teams intruding from the outside to upset the apple cart right away and screw all these people's minds up right away. That's what I want because there would be panic. They would feel like an intruder came in and stole their lunch. It would also diminish the credibility they all have about our conferences are the most competitive and blah, blah, blah. Nobody can touch us. To have an outsider jump in and win it would be a big deal. Similarly to the way I think about Notre Dame when they were in the ACC and the ACC, situation with Clemson and all that, like you come in there and then you like take that from them when it's been their thing forever. Something like that. Somebody's saying I need to play the game on air for work. Bro, I'm not good at video games. For as quickly as I can think to say things on this show, I don't have the patience for all the buttons. I just can't, man. I mean, you got to be a mechanical engineer to be able to figure out a controller, and then you see like some 7-year-old kid in public that's like doing it all. And you're like, bro, can I have Nintendo? Maybe Super Nintendo, original PlayStation. They were getting, I could handle those buttons. So V1 Rotate, man, do your thing. If you're excited and you want to go check out the trailer, you do that, man. I'm telling you, this is a real thing to me. Yeah, Notre Dame should take Purdue seriously, especially in Lafayette. Listen, I have this, I can't prove it. Here's how to look at it. Here's how I'm going to look at it. I want you to look at it too. If you ask Notre Dame people, fans, like a player off the record, whatever, if you had them rank most important, biggest Notre Dame games coming up this year that you must win and worry about that are a premium big deal. If you had anybody list those, I guarantee you we're going to be higher on Purdue's list of that project than they're going to be on ours. And that's a little dangerous. Whenever you have that imbalance of how important the game is in the ledger, that's a little dangerous to me. But I guarantee you, if we both did this exercise, Purdue would have the importance and the bigness of the moment against Notre Dame ranked higher than we would now. And to me, I see danger in that if you're not prepared for the moment. Now, roster's flawed. Purdue's roster's flawed. I'm not claiming that it isn't. I've just seen some weird stuff happen at night in that building. There's a little vibe. Adam, the Sega I had was Master System. The first system I ever played before Nintendo even was Sega Master System. and it was awesome. There was a Gangster Town game with like the duck hunt gun for Sega. There was that, a racing game, a Space Invaders game. It was fun. Sega Master System. That's how old I am. But that's my issue with Purdue is the imbalance of how we both look at this. And I've seen them do some things at night. You remember that 1 year? Urban Meyer, Ohio State, Thursday night at Purdue, nightmare. Just Purdue ran wild on them and blew them off the field. I think it's a break getting them during the day. I do. And we'll have a good contingent there. And I think it should be a good one. Andrew Gilmore, are you trying to give me an aneurysm on a Friday? Let me go back to that. Check this out. Dark Horse SEC, LSU, not trolling. I think people are dismissing them too quickly. They have the best line in the SEC. Big Ten, Penn State. This is the year Ohio State has no QB. Michigan's rebuilding. It's going to be really, really interesting. In the SEC, Andrew, I totally respect LSU having a good O-line. Yeah, like I totally do respect that. They do return a good line, and that's going to help them a lot as they rebuild. They lost a lot of the skill talent. Obviously, it's not easy to replace the Heisman-winning quarterback, and Nussmeier throws a pretty ball, but he is not nearly as mobile as Jaden Daniels, and that's why he was so deadly is that mobility helped him in the run and the pass game. That's going to be really interesting to watch. And then I like good defense, baby. I like good defense. I'm really interested to see how quickly this new defense for LSU turns things around. As much as I dislike Kelly and everything about his existence, there's a lot of talent, man. It just doesn't line up to me that LSU's defense could ever be as bad statistically as it's been lately on the field, because there's talent everywhere. There's just no... It's like you almost have to try and be that bad I know the talent LSU has in that geographical area and on the team. For them to be that bad on defense just doesn't line up to me. So even just any level of competence is going to boost all that. Then it's a question of that offense. Does it take a few steps back, but the defense takes a few steps up? Like that's the kind of calculation I'm making with USC in a lot of ways and LSU. Can those defenses take a step up? But in response to the offenses take a step back, where does that leave you? So I don't know, man. But as far as people I don't like and teams I don't like, that's a lot of intrigue. It's a lot of genuine intrigue, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. John Simpson. Okay, and Andrew, one more thing. You mentioned Penn State. I got a Patreon I recorded yesterday, going to come out soon about this. The James Franklin situation with him overriding the medical doctors, that should be a way bigger national story than it is. And he literally did. Everybody hear about that? The team doctors sued Penn State and James Franklin because James Franklin would be like, I don't care what you said as a licensed team doctor. He's fine. Get him out there. He was doing one of those things. And the guy won millions of dollars, the doctor, in the lawsuit against Penn State and Franklin. This should be a national college football story, and it isn't. And I have some theories why, and that's what the Patreon episode's about. But the fact that him doing that is not front page college football news, there's something amiss. And I think I know what it is. And that's what the article's about. But imagine being like, I just can't imagine being like a parent of a really good high school athlete, football player, and being like, yeah, I'm comfortable with him overtaking the safety of my 18-year-old son. I totally trust James Franklin. How could any parent say that? Are you stupid? Are you in a cult? How stupid you have to be as a parent to entrust the health and safety physically and mentally and emotionally of your young developing son to James Franklin when you know he's going against the doctor's orders with his meathead, rub some dirt on that ACL. It ain't broken. Oh, you have a concussion, you can't see straight, you have a migraine. Good story. Now get out there and play these reps. Bro, literally, how could any parent who cares about their kids' well-being entrust them to James Franklin? And Penn State's got kind of a history with right thing and having wrong values and all that kind. I'm not turning that into this nightmare. I'm just saying, never in a million years would my parents be interested in me going to Penn State if they know this about the coach. How is this not a bigger deal? It's cult activity. That's why. Tune into the Patreon. I break it all down and go off. It's cult activity. That's what it is. Illinois' coach 10 years ago, prior to Lovie, was fired for it. I remember that. I remember that hitting the airwaves and on like Chicago radio, Andrew, and everybody was like, thank God they found a way to get out of this guy. They were like glad it happened because it gave them a reason to get out of it, right? And they're like, oh man, this is our out. Thank God he was abusing these players. It's sick. Oh my God, Jay Carr. You guys, if you're not on Twitter, you maybe have not seen this. Those Texas A&M, the white male cheerleaders in the overalls. There was a video circulating on Twitter, and it looks like they're in like a little chapel. Bro, I'm not imagining that, am I? I'm not imagining that. It looks like it's almost like the chapel we had in my Catholic high school. And they're doing the most awkward dance moves and cheers in this little like chapel. And you have all these people swaying and they got their arms around it. And these guys are doing, it looks like they're doing the YMCA. What are you doing, you weirdos? What are you doing, you weirdos? I'm not kidding. If any your kids, hide your wife. I'm not kidding. Keep an eye on your family. I don't trust these weirdos. I don't trust these weirdos. There's follow me here. There's some things some teams do to rah-rah or whatever, and it's their little tradition, but we don't understand it, so we're going to crap on it. There's all sorts of those little things around the country or whatever. What does Clemson hit the rock and Notre Dame, and Michigan hits the stupid banner, whatever. But this is different because it seems a lot deeper to them. There's a deeper kind of unspoken voodoo thing going on with the A&M male cheerleader thing. There's something really uncomfortable about the vibe, man. There's something really uncomfortable about the vibe. Kent, Says the man that fan base runs around dressed in green as a leprechaun. Kent, a mythical Irish mascot of fables and lore is a lot different than me putting on white overalls as a guy and being a male cheerleader doing the YMCA dances in front of a cult. Way different. All our little leprechaun does is go, hey, fighting Irish. Oh, let's take a picture. And that's it. And he has a shillelagh and he waves it around. Pretty harmless. Pretty harmless. There's something ain't right. I'm telling you, I'm very uncomfortable there. I'm not just saying it because it's our next opponent. I got a good feel for creeps, and there's something not right about that whole scene. It's deeper than like football. It ain't right. It's very uncomfortable. It's very weird. Those people are weird. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want them going near you guys at the game. I don't want any of them near my family. One of their operations on campus just got busted for underage stuff. When I say it's not safe, don't leave, let your kids leave your eye there. I mean it. I mean it. I don't trust these people. You might go there and half your family will end up tied up in an oil well or something at the bottom and never make it back. I don't trust these people. I got a weird vibe. I don't trust them. I think they mix the dirty oil out of the ground in everything they drink and whatever, and it messes them up. There's something I'm telling you guys, there's something not right. I have a feel there's something not right about the whole vibe down there. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I just can't do it. The overalls and the dancing. What is wrong with you, bro? What is wrong with you? Like, how could you grow up and your dream is to wear white overalls and do dances cheering on the real football players? I can't understand how that's your reality. You're demented. Anyways, so the video is totally creepy. I saved it on my phone, on my Twitter, like how you could bookmark. I saved it because I'm going to go back and make it and do something with it when we get back to closer to the season to make fun of them. So I saved it and I'll revisit it and make some edits. Like your favorite team doesn't have chance. Yeah, like go team, not we are creepy perverts. Like, and the people doing the chants are like the normal cheerleaders, not males in white overalls. No. The Aggie bonfire. That's, do we mean bonfire? What is that? I assume he means bonfire, or we need to alert the authorities. Bro, I'm not kidding. Tell me you meant bonfire. If we're having a bonfire, I got a totally different set of questions. Oh my God, I hope you mistyped that, but it's way funnier, man. It's way funnier. John, keep going. You're making this game a must-see. I'm telling you. I got to tell you, man. Look, here's the other way I look at this. You got to understand, I worked a dozen years in the Chicago Archdiocese. All of the Catholic stuff and all the problems we had, those were my problems to deal with. Like, when you got a guy that just got done working 12 years in the Diocese of Chicago and all the stuff that the church has gotten wrong or whatever it has to work on, when that guy with all of that knowledge about everything that goes into it is saying that these people are a cult, believe me, man. Just believe me. Oh, my word. Ohio State as a class in cooking meth. Man, I'm telling you, that's a team that needs a good year, buddy. Oh, we spent $13 million in NIL in the portal. But fine, baby. You better win. You better win. Like, Ohio State needs to win that conference. Do we all agree on that? Travis, any of my Ohio State people? Kent, any of them? Eric's probably already gone having a baby again and having kidney stones, whatever he's doing again. Any Ohio State people, you guys gotta win it all. You gotta win it all. Oh, Oregon's winning the Big Ten. Maybe you weren't here. Maybe you weren't here when I brought that up earlier. My biggest dream for the SEC and the Big Ten this year is for these interlopers from the outside to come in there and win the conference and piss them all off. Oh, could you imagine the glory and the fun I would have with the idea that these two conferences that think they're the end all be all of college football, we're better than everybody else. We're more, every week's more competitive. Both those conferences think the world of themselves. Oh, baby, I want the interlopers to win so they totally lose their minds. Give me Oregon coming out of the, I mean, not USC. Give me Oregon or Washington coming out. Washington's going to take a step back. Give me Oregon coming out of the Big Ten. Give me that Texas somehow out of the SEC. Ooh, Johnny loves it. I love the drama. Johnny's here for the drama, the conference drama. Kent says, and Notre Dame better make the playoffs. Oh, you're darn tootin', Kent. Ooh. Just the thought of that not happening, I felt my forehead expand 3 inches. I felt it right when I read that from Kent and thought about the concept of us not making the playoffs. My airline just went back. It ran away from my brain. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Geez. Yeah, dude, no, I'm right with you. Go Irish Nate. That would be the best case scenario, most hilarious thing over. Texas wins the SEC and Oregon wins the Big Ten. Oh, I'm rooting for it 100%. I am rooting for it 100%. And it's going to be awesome. Okay? It's going to be awesome. Sorry, John, I'm a minute behind the live. Dude, I'm serious. Adam Dowling with the $5 holler. Adam, let me make you a deal. Why don't I give you a $5 holler and then I come meet you on your boat and I bring you whatever food and drinks you guys want and we go out on the boat and party and try not to worry about football. Let's do that for a Saturday in the summer. I'm serious. I'll give you a $5 holler refund on that one. We're having a party on Adam's boat and then we'll take over Pat's cabin as well by the lake. And we're just going to invite ourselves and have ourselves a party. $5 holler. John, wait till next year when these weirdos try and take over Notre Dame Stadium. But at least, Adam, at least I'm going to be way more confident in our surroundings. That's the issue. It was like going to the Miami game in 2017 where it was physically unsafe to even be near the building because that fan base does not know how to act in public. Those people they don't know how to act. They have no morals. They have no values. They don't respect human life. They don't believe in anything. They live a lifestyle I don't respect, and they're trash. And it was physically unsafe to be in that building as a Notre Dame fan. At least, if we're at home, we outnumber those creeps. And there's enough of us that you could keep an eye on all these weirdos. And wherever the white overall guy, you just keep them away from your family and you just keep them away. Okay? So I'll feel a lot better about it. We can control more of the environment at home. And at least we'll be able to see these people moving around and we'll all have eyes on them. This is a big year in college football, you guys. This is a big, big year. There is so many things changing, and just, it's a big year. Here's how I'm starting to think of it. The first year of a big reset. You follow me? Like the first year of a big mega reset. And it's a big deal to me when everything's changing and it's the first year of it for you to get your footing and establish your spot in this new ecosystem. Does that make sense? Like all these changes, you want to kind of like plant your flag there as being a part of whatever's coming next. Make that first playoff field. If you're one of the teams from another conference joining the Big Ten or the SC, you want to let people know we're here and we deserve to be respected. We're taking a playoff spot out of this conference, like whatever, man. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. John's becoming a wine and cheeser. Unbelievable. Just because I asked for a seat back doesn't make me wine and cheese. I'm not saying I'm going to sit in it, but it prevents the people behind me from kicking me in the back or falling into my 60-year-old mom. I mean, we had guys so drunk behind us with one of those recent USC games. They were literally like huge guys falling over. Like, ugh. I ain't here for that. Be loud and be proud, but stay off my mom. There's a line there. And if you're that drunk that you can't even stand up and cheer without falling, maybe learn how to drink again or don't do it at all. I don't think I'm asking for too much. Not going to lie, ND needs to get better seating. In the old days, you guys, I mean this sincerely. In the old days, you could literally get splinters in your jeans or in your shorts and find little pieces of wood when you like take off your clothes to wash them from the game. If it rained or whatever, or you were on a wood, they were all wood seats back then. If you remember, Jay Carr, splinters in the ass in the old days. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. You would find little shards of wood or whatever. And the way I move, I don't sit still. I'm always moving. You could take a little bit of that wood with you, and you could see one of the seats behind me. Let me move. Look at that wood seat. Number 4 for the Horsemen. That's what I'm telling you, man. You used to get them splinters in your seat. If it rained a little bit, it would get a little wet. Oh, baby. Like you could feel the spirit of Frank Leahy and Rockne coming out of those wood seats. I'm not kidding, man. And now they redid it with those bleachers or whatever. You do have more space. I will admit, you do have more space. Here's the other thing. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but it seems obvious and apparent to me. I feel like the upper bowl at Notre Dame, everything's spaced out way more. When I'm in the upper bowl, I feel like the aisleways, I feel like everything is more spaced out in the new upper bowl. So that's where I try and go. Let me do a couple more of these. Frabble edits. Did you redo your logo? Tell me if you're the same. It's got to be. You redid your logo, $2 dollar. Your boy from it is you. Good job on the edit. Your boy from the 815, Texas, 8-4 is a true cult. Yeah, it's, man. Oh, look at this. I have the Sega Master System in the guest bedroom circa 86. Rambo game still works great. I'm telling you, that was the first one that I did. We had Gangster Town, a Space Invaders game, a motorcycle racing game, a golf game, a baseball game. There was literally an A button, a B button, and a directional pad. And I think that's it. And it's all you needed. And that was my first system. I had that even before the duck hunt and all that. Look at this. Homer TD. Good to see you, my friend. $10 holler. And I appreciate you for the holler. Good morning, John. I'm representing in PA at the Schuylkill. What is it? Schuylkill School kill. I'm having a hard time saying that. And I'm really good with vocabulary. Usually math's my downfall. Country Club, Notre Dame's annual golf tournament this weekend. Go Irish. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, Omer. Represent us well, whether I can announce the name of the golf course or not. Really appreciate him. Good guy. He's in the Always Irish family, and I love him. Angela Rudiger. Always good to have a Rudiger here. The only reason I thought Purdue was a rival was always because my dad talking about it, not from my actual memories. Like, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean, Angela, about that age divide. And then the other thing that you experienced was when you were in the movie filming Rudy in the living room and they say, only one team we watch. And Rudy, does everybody understand what I mean when I say Angela was in the movie? In the scene where they're doing the Purdue, we only watch one team. There's the kids around the living room table eating. Angela's one of those little kids around the table eating the soup in the movie. And so she's in the movie, and that's the scene, and I love it. I love it. And we were meant to be friends forever just because of these connections. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing. V1 rotate with the $10 hala. The same people that are like, get rid of ND and USC are the same people that would melt down if you suggested stopping OSU, Michigan, Bama, Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, it's like everybody else's doesn't matter except for yours matters a lot. Is that what it is? Like, you know what I mean? None of these other rivalries mean that much, but don't touch mine. Keep your hands off my goodies. You know what I mean? Like, there is that kind of a feel to it. Like, none of these rivalries matter as long as you don't mess with mine. Here's an interesting part of this. And I wonder what Big Ten people think of this. And I'm sure the Ohio State and Michigan people have brought this up. Are they going to change Michigan, Ohio State to not be the last game of the year? That's a serious, big deal question that I have. Are they going to change that game from not being the end of the year because they maybe don't want to repeat then with the round robin and the way that there's no divisions now? Like, that would change the dynamics in the Big Ten quite a bit to get that needle mover matchup in more of the middle of the year, like a late Halloween, October-ish type feel game. That would be really interesting. It really would. Travis says, I heard Ruffino and Joe talking about it the more. Oh, what was Blake talking about today? Jesus, word almighty. Who knows what he was yelling at, overpowering Joe? Like, Blake, calm down, buddy. Calm down. And that's coming from me telling Blake to calm down. Bro, I never in my life sought out LSU media till the minute Kelly went there. Now I know all their names. I know all their shows. I know all their bits. I know how they do business. Like, it's really genuinely been interesting for me to hop in the LSU, feel the differences between the SEC vibe and how they do their media and everything. It's actually been really interesting to me. And Blake and I go back and forth all the time. And it's fun and it's healthy. And I love it. John, do you think the Sox will get to 50 wins this year? I don't even think what are they going to get to 20 wins? They're 15-42 or whatever right now. Can they get 20? I'm not watching. I'm not going. I am not giving them one piece of attention or money or anything until the team is sold, either by death or deciding to just sell on your own. That I'm not doing any of this till there's a new owner that actually shows me they value the fans and want to take baseball seriously. It is an insult that you have this situation in the third biggest baseball market in America. Unbelievable. So offensive. Interested in the Bears getting hard knocks? Kind of. Why does Joe do that show? I don't know. Because Blake just overruns him and dominates him and talks all Blakey and loud and just kind of mows Joe over. So I don't know. But he just overpowers Joe with his presence. And then it's like a weird dynamic. But what do I know, man? The Bears getting hard knocks. Here's why it's interesting. It's interesting because they've never wanted it, right? Like they've done everything they can to avoid hard knocks. They don't like that publicity. They're scared of what people might see. They've never wanted to do it and always tried to get out of it. Always tried to get out of it. Now you got Caleb Williams. Now you have a whole new level of excitement and a new brand of excitement wrapped around the team that you never had before. If you were ever going to do it, now's the time to do it. Open up the doors, let people behind the scenes, show them Caleb ingratiating himself with Chicago and with the pros and all that stuff. Like, if you were ever going to do it, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it. Is John going to be a Caleb fan? Are you out of your mind? That's not going to happen. And I've told you guys my Bears NFL opinion before. I watch every minute of every Bears game. I'm fully aware of everything going on in their niche and the things they cover with the media, like everything on the radio every day, Bears, Bears, Bears. I follow it all close. I never miss a Bears game. Win a big game, lose a big game, whatever. My blood pressure does not raise. It's just not emotional. It's just not emotional. It's the team I follow in my area, and there's a lot of history. And my parents and everybody grew up with the 85 Bear. Like, that was their prime, the Bears winning it. And you had Walter Payton and all this stuff and Ditka and the whole thing. It's not emotional to me. Not one bit. Like, there's nothing the Bears do that ever gets my blood pressure to alter. It's just interesting because I love football. But there's no emotion to it at all. And if Notre Dame ever loses on a Saturday, then I sometimes don't mind the Bears losing on a Sunday because I figure if I'm going to be miserable, I want everybody around me to be miserable too. You know why? Because I'm shallow like that. I'm shallow like that, but I'm man enough to admit it. Literally, if we lose on a Saturday, a part of me kind of hopes the Bears lose on a Sunday because I want everyone I live around to also be miserable. Why are we the only ones miserable? I want everybody to be if we're going to be. Do we ever get the high side of it? John loved the Super Bowl shuffle. Well, here's the thing about the Super Bowl shuffle. The actual song itself is lame and it's corny and it's from the 80s and the rhymes are weak and the fake saxophone. Like, it screams mid-80s. It screams mid-80s. That's not the lead, though. The reason the Super Bowl shuffle was awesome was because they recorded it in the season. Everybody needs to realize that. That's why the Super Bowl shuffle's a big deal. It isn't because they won the Super Bowl and recorded it later. They recorded that during the season. That's why that means so much to so many people, because they were so good and they knew they were so good and they knew they were going to win the Super Bowl that they did that before it. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. That's swag. That's confidence. That's arrogance, but backing it up to where nobody could say a word. That was the big deal with that. Don't be all young and not know the history and then think that they won the Super Bowl. And when they were celebrating, they made that video. No. That was during the season. That is ballsy. Fravel, give me a call. Dial me up. I had Nick on. Then I think I had a phone issue again, and a couple people dropped off, and I don't know where we are. What do you mean you're on here? No. No. Bro. Oh my God. I got my login where I call. Then it says calls in queue. And ever since Nick Dean was on here, there's no calls popping up. It does it automatically and updates them. And I can see you have 50 calls after a post-game show. You have one. There's like 7 callers on here. I hit refresh and now they're all here. And I'm over here going, nobody likes Johnny. Nobody wants to call me on a Friday. I hit refresh and all these callers are there. I'm having problems with this call-in system. God. Seriously, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm going, this is rare for me. I have nobody who wants to talk. I wouldn't have been yelling to myself for the last hour. If you guys want to get in, we'll do it real quick. And I want to there's 3 of you on the line right now. I'm going to get you all in. Get your main points. I'm going to get you all in and we'll wrap up the show. I just feel, John's just running his mouth. Answer the phone, fool. I was trying to. I feel good now that I know people wanted to call. But I got stuff to do. I got a meeting at 11. This threw off my day. Everybody get to your main points. I feel horrible now. I hit refresh. Fravel, hit the gavel. Give it to me, baby. No. I'm going to call him, see if he can hear me. This phone system's starting to piss me off. It's getting inconsistent, and I don't have time for that, especially after a post-game show or something.
Hey, what's up, Don?
Bro, I'm sorry, man. The phone system, there's something there's something going on, man. It's just not working as cleanly as it used to. I really don't appreciate this. I thought nobody wanted to call me, and then I refreshed it, and there's a bunch of you. I don't know what's going on, man. What's up?
It's those Texas A&M cultists, man. They're chanting it into existence.
No, you know what they're doing? They're wearing their overalls, acting like they're telephone linemen in their overalls, and they're cutting my wires or something. I don't like it. I don't like it.
So I think this is like one of my few morning shows, but I wanted to hop in because I don't know how big of a lacrosse fan you are, but I was actually at the Final Four this past weekend for Memorial Day.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I'll be honest.
Won back-to-back national titles.
I'll be honest. I watched it. I enjoyed it, but I never played it, and I don't have any like concept of strategy or anything like that. So I just I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I don't know anything about the sport or the theory and the philosophy and the strategy. But it was really interesting and fun.
Yeah, there was, you know how nice it was to actually be with a group of Notre Dame fans and celebrate back-to-back national titles and something.
Yeah, I know. It is really nice.
We need football to do it.
And you know what else? There was some football tie-ins to that. You had the old quarterback and one of the receivers. Like you had a little football tie-in. And you know what? The whole Kavanaugh brother thing, that is so Notre Dame-y. I can't not love it. It just, all of it so Notre Dame-y. The last name, everything about it. It was awesome. Good for them.
Yeah. Hey, who would have thought Tyler Buckner would be having a national championship on his ring? Or, I mean, a national championship ring on his finger.
Yeah, what a journey for that guy, man. But good for him. But that's a wild journey. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's good. Goolsby brought up to me. He goes, John, I like this. He goes, give me those titles in the men's sports. Build that title momentum. Let it be known that there's championships being won around here, and you have some football tie-ins. Let some of that eliteness wear off. I like it.
Yeah, and I do too. And I think when you have guys like Faison and Buckner who are two-sport athletes, Faison's younger brother is coming to Notre Dame for football and lacrosse. It's a beautiful thing to see. But one more thing, and then I'll hop out so we can get all these other people in. But what were your thoughts on the ESPN post-spring top 25 having Notre Dame at 5? Because I love it, but I also don't love it because I don't think that if I had to personally rank, I don't think Notre Dame's the 5th best team right now in the country. We're definitely top 10, but it just seems like it's, again, ESPN trying to push those narratives. Well, Notre Dame, they're the 5th best team in the country. They're better than Bama.
Right. Because we want to pump up whatever we're doing for them playing the SEC week 1, right? Is that a part of it? Like, is that where your mind goes?
I think so. I think that's what it is. I think they want to say, hey, we've got a top 5 team playing at A&M week 1. That's why we have game day there.
Exactly. And the reality of it is, man, I mean, whether we win or lose, it's probably going to be an overreaction because week 1 is full of overreactions because everybody's been waiting all summer and then you only have one body of work. So that's going to be it's going to be a big deal and a big needle mover. Either Notre Dame's going to prove right away they are a top 5 team, or if they lose, then Notre Dame, it's same old Notre Dame, out of the top 25. Screw them. I don't know. I don't know, man.
And our fan base, John. You know our fan base better than anyone else. If we win the A&M game, it doesn't matter if we win it by 21 or we win it by a point. Somebody's going to complain in our fan base about, oh, we should have done this, and that. I just want to get out of there with a win. I don't care how it happens. Just get out of there with a W.
Yeah, that's my priority as well. It's such a big moment. There's so much practical and perceptual momentum riding on that one outcome. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. You need to fight, claw, and sweat your way to find a way to win it. Then things settle down a little bit and you can relax a little and ease into the season and start, tightening things up. But you just need to fight and claw your way to win that one.
Yeah. What we don't need, though, is we beat A&M and we kind of chill out. And then, God forbid, knock on wood, we lose to Purdue.
Yeah, I do think catching them during the day is a benefit instead of at night there. I also don't like their roster. I just have a little weird Purdue hang up in the back of my head for a few different reasons. There's just a weird little Purdue thing I have there. And I need you to go in there and win and shut them up in West Lafayette. Seriously, the stupid drum and the little brother syndrome whole thing they have going on. Go do your engineering quiz and leave me alone and go bang your own drum and leave the football dust. Okay, thanks.
Are they even would you even consider them our little brother? Or are they more like a little younger cousin?
You know what?
I don't even really give them
no
brother title.
You know what they feel like to me? They feel like to me like the little other cousin, but on the weird side of the family, you don't really interact with unless you have to, once every 5 years. That's what it feels like to me. That's what it feels like to me. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, they're kind of my cousin, but we only hang out once every 5 years for a reason. That's kind of what they feel like to me.
Oh, yeah, I definitely
Now watch
agree,
this.
But,
now watch, though. This is going to get cut up, clipped up, and then Purdue beats Notre Dame, and John's all over YouTube short with this one, and it's going to come right back to burn me in my face, but I'm putting it out there anyways. Damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah, they'll run away. They'll run with that. I don't even know if there are Purdue fans on Twitter. I haven't seen any to this day, so we'll have to see. But thanks, John, for taking my call. I'll let you get to the
No
other calls.
problem.
I know you got to get going.
Bro, I'm sorry, man. I didn't. Something is wrong with it. I'm glad you mentioned that. I hit refresh and there's all my calls waiting. What the hell am I paying this people for? Anyways, have a relaxing weekend, my friend. Have a good one. You take care now. Thanks.
You too.
Yeah.
Yep,
See ya.
bye.
Dude, I don't get it. Let me see what else I could try and do. Now it's not No, it's not letting me. There's like boxes to move your mouse over your finger and pick them, and they're like grayed out where you can't even like hit the button to bring them live. I don't know what's going on, but I pay for this service and I've had problems all week and I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. Dude, okay. All right, you guys. I'm going to try one more time. Mark, you have not. Quit trying to raise my blood pressure just to do it. You have not. Mark's like, I've been old for 2.5 hours. Where have you been? No, you're not. I know your number and your stuff pops up. You're not on here. Quit playing with me. I can't afford to lose any more hair. But, all right. I think this is a good time to end the program today. And I got to figure out what's going on here because maybe it's just an off week for them. Remember Wednesday? Oh, all your circuits are busy. What is this, 1925? What do you mean all the circuits are busy? I don't even know what that means. All your circuits, like a lady plugging the cord in the wall, like in the 20s. I don't get it. The circuits are busy. Unbelievable. I would pay to see the next 30 seconds after the stream. It frustrates me. I had to drop the line, and I'm going to try and reboot it and run a test when we're off here. I don't know what's going on. You running Windows 95 over there? Yeah, when I get done with this stream, I'm playing Oregon Trail. You got a problem with that? Mark, you're going to make fun of me? I'm going to wish dysentery upon thee. What's your service PIN? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, you want my PIN number for my ATM card or what? What do you mean? What's your service PIN? I don't know what that means. Man, I'm getting... John needs a spaceship PC. What does that mean? Are you guys like talking in tongues? What does that mean? You ever, is that like one of those mega gaming computers where it has like a car engine burning, like running and you can hear it? And then all those guys who never see sunlight are in their room and they're sitting in their race chair. Weird, man. That's weird. That's weird to me. Those people that have like literally like the race car chair to play their video games in, like, bro, I think we're going overboard. I think you're fine in your regular seat. You don't need a rocket booster chair to play your video games. Calm down. Whatever. Anyways, I got problems. My phone lines are playing games with me. I was not attentive to the callers. We insulted a bunch of other schools in Texas A&M. Wild Friday, you guys. Wild Friday. All right. That's going to be it. I sincerely apologize. I'm glad Fravel let me know he was waiting. I've never had to do it again before, but I hit refresh and there they all were. I don't understand what's going on with the system, but I really don't appreciate it at all. Angela, you have a ton of problems. You would know more than most people just how many I got. Saturday show, can't promise it. May have something family to do. Can't promise it, but I'll let you know tomorrow at some point. Thank you to everybody, the callers, John. BVG, that's funny. I wish I could. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the calls that I could take. Paying done for the year. Was this addressed? Yes, it was addressed. We went over it. Not ideal, a surprise to everybody. But if it was going to happen to any position group, that's probably one of the better ones for it to happen to. I don't know what else there is. I don't know what else there is to say. I didn't have any behind the scenes insight on this. Totally took me by surprise. Nobody dropped it into me. So I don't know. Never ideal, but I guess it's a position of depth and strength. I don't know any other way to look at it, but this was a surprise. I didn't see anybody that had that info like ahead of time. So I don't know, man. All right, everybody, have a good one. Really appreciate the donations. I sincerely apologize for the phone line thing. Maybe their system's just having an off week or they're redoing, configuring things because it's not been a smooth operation as long as it gets worked out by the season because I can't afford any phone hiccups on a post-game show where I have 50 people waiting to call. All right, have a good weekend, you guys. Have safe out there.